Hi, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. When a technical difficulty like that occurs, especially on a Friday at the end of the week, hit the motherfucking thumbs up because CBG does not give up. Now, I will say, it was very easy when that happened. Whatever just occurred for me to be like, fuck this, I'm chilling out and watching a movie. But there were points to be made, and I'm not giving up on you guys. I'm not giving up on creating this content this evening. So, with that being said, let me make the point that I was about to make before everything just got fucktardery on me. The whole reason I was going into that story about the evaluation paper that I sent the CEO, I'm trying to get into perspectives, okay? It is absolutely critical right now that you and I do not squabble over $1,000 move in Bitcoin. If you are asking me, hey CBG, do you think Bitcoin's going to go at 59 or 61 or 60,000? Like, you clearly haven't been paying attention on this channel. It's not what you should be focused on. Let me give you a little bit of optimism going into the weekend. And while I cannot tell you if it's going to be next week or it's going to be the week after that or it's going to be 2 weeks later, but the best depiction I can give you is that my view of the altcoin space, we're talking about altcoins, my view of the altcoin space, I'm going to show you actually, all right? I don't drink a lot of diet soda. I don't. This is a Coke Zero. Do you see this Coke Zero? This is the altcoin market. This is the altcoin market today. And it's just going like this. And fuck, I'm not opening this up right now. That is your altcoin market. We're literally just waiting for someone to be a moron and go like this. Okay? That's my best visual depiction. So why are we spending time talking about whether Bitcoin is going to 59 or 60,000 or 58.5? Who the fuck cares? When you see the forest, don't look at the trees. This is where I'm going with this, guys. If you're literally paying attention to the day-to-day and you're so frustrated because Bitcoin's at 62 and it's not at 69 or 70, guys, I actually guarantee you something. I'm going to actually guarantee you something on this channel right now. If this is what you're focused on, what I just spoke to, you're not going to do well. You're not going to do well in this market. And I'm going to tell you quite frankly, you're not paying attention to anything I'm saying. Now, I know that does not apply to most of you, the majority of you. But there is at least one person out there listening to this live stream that is clearly not paying attention to what I'm saying, and that's what they're most concerned with. If you're really sweating and you're so anxious and you have anxiety over whether altcoins are going to pop off tomorrow or 15 days from now, like, you're not going to do well. You're just not going to do well in the market because you're not doing a good job of controlling your emotions and you're missing the higher time frame macro perspective. I've told you time and time again, we need to look for this Bitcoin dominance to break down. That is what we're waiting for, okay? Throw this chart in front of me and ask me the question, we don't know this is Bitcoin dominance. I'm just assessing this chart. And I'm giving you my honest view on the chart. Forget any emotional bias that I have towards the market. If I'm looking at this chart, essentially my conclusion is, yes, I know we're in an uptrend, but we're running out of momentum. And I mean, all of these price wicks should be signaling to that. The deterioration in the pricing indicators on this weekly view should tell you that. And the higher time frame perspective is going to give you a more credible view of what you think is most and least likely moving forward. God, I do not want to open this thing. I'm going to have to... The things I do for you guys. I'm going to have to... I don't know. That could be a fun time, though. I could stick this in my fridge and then forget about it and then open it up. That'd be pretty moronic. I'm going to... Wow, that is... This is the altcoin market. I'm going to put that in my refrigerator separate from my mini fridge. We'll figure out what to do with that. The whole point is this is running out of momentum, guys, and this is what you should be focused on. Another thing, and something I was paying particular attention to, let's see if this still panned out. Yeah. Guys, this is another missed key concept that I've noticed within the market for those of us who have not been here for a long time and have paid attention. What does altcoin season mean to you? Well, it means that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, right? That is correct. It means that dominance is going to drop. That is correct. Well, here is the natural human tendency. It's just the way we're wired to think of that. What that implies is that Bitcoin is going up at a lower rate than altcoins, meaning altcoins are up like 30, 40% and Bitcoin's only up like 3 or 4%, right? That's the natural tendency for people, not you, but for people to think of it as. No, it means outperformance. Outperformance can be to the upside and downside. What do I mean by the downside? Because clearly everyone knows the upside. The downside means is the corrections are not as steep as Bitcoin. Did anyone notice anything today? Because it's something I was paying particular attention to. The others. Now, the others market cap, this is everything outside of the top 10. As soon as you start going out of the top 10 within the cryptocurrency market cap, you're getting into more volatile assets. There is an increased likelihood, given the smaller market capitalization and resulting increased in volatility, to have sharper moves to the upside and sharper moves to the downside. So on average, we would anticipate that as Bitcoin is correcting, for instance, Bitcoin's down 4%, more than 4%, we would expect total others right here, this is down more than 4%. This is down more than 4% because this is a more volatile asset class. Guys, let's take a look. Oh, wow, look at that. We're down 3%, 3 1/3. Now, at one point today, total others was only down just over 1%, and Bitcoin was down close to 4%. Is there anything possibly that's signaling to you? It's signaling to you strength within the altcoins. What I'm trying to tell you, putting all of the animation aside and all of the flamboyancy that I tend to bring to the channel aside, and just to speak at this in a very monotone and serious view here, is that what I signaled to you now on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and it's a higher time frame perspective on the weekly, we've got a lot of weakness expressed by these price wicks and also the deterioration within the price indicators to tell us we're rolling over. We might not even hit 58%. It doesn't matter if we go up to 58%. There's so much weakness being exhibited here that any movement up is like a last gasp. It's like, think of it like someone that is dying and they're on their last leg. Sorry to be so morbid. I work in life insurance. Think of someone dying and taking their last breath and then dying. You see what I'm saying? So as that dominance drops, obviously that means your altcoins are significantly outperforming Bitcoin. But the other clue, the other breadcrumb, this is why I tried to signal to you guys last week. I was the only person I think that signaled this to you. I said it was either Thursday or Friday, signaled the start of alt season. And the reason was because Bitcoin was down substantially and Solana was up leading the market as it did coming into 2023. And I viewed that as a signal of a changing of the guard. I viewed last week a changing of the guard, and that's why I deemed it alt season. Alt season, again, does not mean that all of a sudden your altcoins are going up 100%. It's not what it means. It means your altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. That can happen to the upside and downside. Last week I viewed as the changing of the guard. This week is solidifying my view of that. You have Bitcoin down more than 4%, and you have altcoins outside of the top 10 down less than that, just over 3%. It's a signal to you. It should be a signal to you that once Bitcoin begins to resume strength, your alts are going to run harder. Now, there could be a moment where Bitcoin takes our breath away. That's what I would call it. You know that song, Take My Breath Away, in Top Gun? Top Gun was a very good movie. I am an 80s buff. Now that I have fully disclosed my age and the time period I grew up in, I love the 80s. Whether you're talking about music or movies, it's just, I don't know. In many ways, I'm a helpless romantic. I know, not to get all mushy, but I'm a helpless romantic, and I like a lot of stuff in that era. But anyway, take my breath away. There could be a take your breath away moment that results, again, in that last gasp of fleeting breath that Bitcoin is trying to make, coming up here towards 58%, but you should see Bitcoin dominance roll over at that point, okay? This is what it should be telling you. And again, whether that occurs next week, the beginning of next week, the middle of next week, 2 weeks later, it's imminent. It's imminent is the point. So I don't want you guys, I think the best thing you can do, okay, for the profitability potential of your portfolio, besides checking out the latest video that I dropped, I think the best thing you can do for the profitability of your portfolio is to not pay attention to some of these days kind of coming up in here where there's just kind of sideways chop. Because again, April has the potential, we'll see how March closes out. April has the potential to be a sideways chop sort of market where some of your altcoins have decent runs. Or April has the potential where Bitcoin just goes batshit crazy and takes your breath away. We'll just have to be patient. We'll have to be patient. But I would really encourage you guys to zoom out. Keep in mind all of the macro perspective views that I've shared with you. Because if you've been invested in this market for some time, or even if you're newer, you got in here in the past 6 to 8 months, what's going to benefit you is to remove that emotion, right? Remove yourself from MSNBC. I'm going to remind my family about this. You know, when I have a conversation with my father and my brother and share some things with them, I'm going to say, look, guys, the best thing you can do, I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to give you my words of advice. This is what I suggest doing. It doesn't differ from what I've told my community. Here's what I would reiterate doing. And I would also strongly encourage you not to pay attention to the news. You're going to read news articles about Solana is the new Ethereum. It's going to, $4,000. Bitcoin is going into a super cycle with $500,000. XRP is going to change all of our lives. It's going to $100. You're going to read these things, and if you're not, I'm telling you, as silly as all of this sounds, if you're not conditioned today, you will fail tomorrow. That's a good saying I just came up with right now. If you're, a new CBG quote. I like it. If you're not conditioned today, you will fail tomorrow. You like that? You digging that? You like that? All right. No, but there is another saying, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So be conditioned today, because I'm telling you, things are going to get pretty crazy pretty quickly. So having a plan in place and being unemotional about it and not paying attention to the news reports are going to be so critical. Again, I think the awesome thing about me dropping that video and sharing it with you guys, you do not have to ask the question, how is Crypto Bull God planning on selling his Bitcoin? I literally just laid it out to you. And that's also going to tell me with relative fashion, once those start firing, the run I see in alts, I'm planning on taking profits. Whatever my, Caspa is a great example. Unless if something significantly changes in the charts, I still think it's going to hit $2 to $4. So based on whatever my fib extensions are telling me and where it's at in crypto market cap and my thesis on where it's going, I'm selling out based on that strategy once Bitcoin tops out and I start selling my Bitcoin. So again, I'm being transparent on how I plan to sell. Let's see what comments we have. Guys, thank you for sticking around on the live stream. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Great to have you in here, Greg and Track. Coke Zero tastes way better than normal Coke. I rarely drink Coke Zero. Once in a while, I'll get in the mood for a diet soda. You know when I will? Like, if I'm having like a pizza or something like that and I don't have wine to have with it, I'll be in the mood for like a root beer or like a Diet Coke or something like that. Of course, rum and Cokes, that is a great football drink. If you want to know what CBG, I would say if I'm going to drink during a football game, I would give it a 50% likelihood, I'm going to have a Coke Zero and some rum, Captain Morgan rum. As a dentist, I cannot condone consumption of normal Coke. Can I like this? That's hilarious. Oh, I can't like it. I appreciate your comment, logical move as a dentist. I like that. And as an actuary, as a stereotypical conservative individual, I cannot condone investing in cryptocurrencies. I am bucking the norm. If you actually think about it, if you investigated who I was, I would probably make no sense because I buck every trend on stereotypes. I'm an actuary, so you would think naturally I'm extremely introverted and I love to sit behind my desk and be in front of a computer and not interact with people outside of the actuarial department. Completely the opposite. I love interacting with underwriters and the sales team and compliance and get me out of the actuarial world, in fact. Honestly, the more you can get me out of the actuarial world and I'm interacting with the non-actuaries, the better. I don't know. Then I'm also this passionate weightlifter. And on top of it, to your point, what was the other point I was going to make here? I don't know. There was another point I was going to make here. Now I completely lost my track of thought. This is what happens when you get old. But the whole point is I'm bucking the trend. No, something with mortality. I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought. Guys, if you're still hanging in there, thank God. Guys, I really, honestly, you're welcome for the stream, Richard. Glad you're appreciating. I know what I was going to say. I'm bucking the trend on an actuary because of being risk averse. So actuaries by stereotype, and they do exist for a reason, conservative by nature. Well, I'm not conservative by nature. I believe the only risk you can take in life is not taking risk at all. So when I say I am balls to the wall with my net liquidity in crypto, you have no fucking idea. Balls to the wall. So I believe in this space. Let me tell you that much. But the whole premise behind this live stream, guys, today was I don't want you to pay attention to this day-to-day chip chop. Because if you feed too much into the emotional narrative, there is a risk. There's two emotional types, and I'm going to sign off with this. There are two main emotional types within this market that will significantly decrease the likelihood of profitability. The one is intuitive. We just talked about this. The one is intuitive. The one is the greedy person who thinks things will always go up. It's endlessly going up. I'm not going to take profit. Thumbs up, guys. I don't see enough engagement. Appreciate it. YouTube, look, this is how YouTube grades me. If you do not give a thumbs up, I am worthless to YouTube. And I don't think I'm a worthless individual. If you do not think I'm a worthless individual and I have some self-worth in this life, please hit the thumbs up button for the love of God. So that's the main emotion that we know investors are sometimes crippled by if you don't have your emotions in place. You know what the other emotion is that I spoke to the other day? It's kind of the counterintuitive to that, which is people like myself who did not come from much I don't want to make it sound like I grew up in a poor environment. I didn't. I grew up in the lower end of middle class. And so people who didn't grow up with a lot of money, let's just call it for what it is, you start to make a lot of money. And then you begin to become so uncomfortable with that it results in you essentially selling early. So there's two main emotions that if you don't have control of them, depending what spectrum you're on, you're not going to be as in the middle as you could be, right? My goal, you know what my goal is for this channel? This is like a mission statement. This is a big moment. I open myself up for this, and then we're going to leave right after this. My mission on this channel is to use all of the life experiences that I have investing in this market and all of the education that I have accumulated within technical analysis and then TA within crypto to help to educate you. Because ultimately, I want you to be a more informed investor in the market. I want to also do that by discussing some of the fundamentals taking place, things you should be aware of within the economy, which I've branched off to. But the bottom line is I want to be an educator in this market, and as it pertains to the immediate future, there is nothing more gratifying beyond my own personal success than to know that I have helped at least one person to profit more than they otherwise would have by being subscribed to my channel. And that's me being 100% with you. I mean, I know what it is like to be someone new to the market, and you have all sorts of emotions based on the volatility you're seeing. I know what it's like to make a lot of money in this market and then be stuck on a thesis, and because you're stuck on that one thesis, you don't sell. So you don't profit from it, and you see your profits go down and down and down. And now I want to be the person who can say, I did successfully sell out. Not only do I have an actionable plan for you based on the education knowledge, but I also want to be the person a year from now that says, I did profitably sell out, and I can tell you how I did it. So again, that is really my mission statement, and I just want to make sure at this point of the quote-unquote cycle that you guys are staying very level-headed. It's a critical time right now. It's really a critical time, and I need you guys to remain in this thing. Evan, I didn't sell jack shit. I don't know what you were talking. You sold. Love you too, Evan. I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. Unless if there's significant what in the market, I'm not going to be live streaming until Monday. What I was going to say is actually this weekend, and I'm starting to feel it too, I feel like I need to take a little bit of a break from looking at the charts. I've had a lot going on between, nothing bad, but I've had a lot going on between work life, personal life, crypto life. So I feel like this weekend might be a little bit of a break for me to just get away from the charts. So even if there is something monumental that occurs in the market, I don't know that I'm going to live stream. I just need a little bit of time away. But I will be back on Monday. So make sure that you click that bell icon if you haven't for all notifications to know when I go live, guys. Again, just can't stress this enough, whether it's next week or it's the week after or whatever the week is, these charts are setting up for not just a big move in Bitcoin. We are on the precipice of a massive risk-on environment within altcoins. And your altcoins are set to explode. A rising tide lifts all boats. Hang in there and be patient. Stop worrying about this day-to-day bullshit. And whether Bitcoin goes to 59, 58, or 61,000, it doesn't matter based on the macro views. Until something changes in the macro views, we're going a fuck ton higher. Cheers, everybody. Until next time, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care.